Welcome back, everybody, to the D.O.G podcast. My name is Drew. As always, I'm with German and OC, and today we'll go over recap of Week 12 and a little bit of what's going on Week 13.
Sounds good, man. Did you guys see at all or watch Aaron Rodgers play and how beat up he got and pulled out? Jordan Love came in, played okay, I guess, right, with like the circumstances. He was completing some passes. He had Watson go up the sideline with another touchdown. Um, and I guess what did they come out and say that Rodgers is clear to play, right? Would that be the wise decision for Green Bay to go ahead and allow Rodgers to play, or let's just see the season out with Jordan Love,
I'm all in on Jordan Love at this point.
right?
What reason would Aaron Rodgers play? Technically you're not mathematically out, but you guys are out. Like you guys aren't making playoffs.
It's like
The,
one and done at this point,
Yeah,
right, for
the
the Packers.
Vikings have 9 wins. You guys have 4 wins.
Uh,
Like it's not happening. You guys are 3 games back of the wild card. There's multiple teams in front of you in the wild card hunt. It's not gonna happen. Might as well see Jordan Love fix your thumb because that's what he's blaming it on, right? His thumb. Fix your thumb. Get better for next season. But yeah, I don't know. I'd sit him.
OC, what's up with your boy, dude? Rodgers, come on, man.
Man, that boy's selling. Um, the Vikings, like Andrew said, they're one win away, and I think a Detroit loss or a Green Bay loss away from clinching the division, like with still a month left in the season.
Right.
So, I mean, unless they're planning to make this miraculous wild card run, then, I mean, at this point, just sell it on Rodgers for the year and let Jordan Love get some work. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he showed he can, like you said, provided the circumstance, he showed he can move the ball pretty well. I mean, the biggest issue for Green Bay is that run defense. I mean, they allowed Philly to have their biggest night
Oh
rushing, and
yeah.
I think ever in their history, like over
Mm-hmm.
300 yards rushing. So I don't think moving the. I mean, they scored 30 points. Scoring the ball wasn't the issue for them. But I'm sick and tired of hearing Aaron Rodgers every week just be like, "Oh well, I got this going on, or I'm hurt with this." Okay, then sit out. Like instead of
Right.
making excuses, just sit out, get healthy. We'll see you next year, bud, if you decide to come back.
Right. I
Mm.
mean, because it almost kind of seems like he's getting a big portion of the blame for the state of the Packers right now. Not as much as Russell Wilson is. Well, we'll get into him a little bit later, but yeah, it seems like this year he's always come up with some type of excuse, right? Where it's just for not playing well, and then he does play well. He goes beats the Cowboys, but then the week after plays terrible against Tennessee, and then I guess he takes a big hit this week, right? What was it? It was like something with his chest area or whatever
His
whatever
what they
injury.
call it, an
His
oblique injury.
oblique, right?
Right. So
I
I
thought it
mean,
was
what
a punctured lung or something at some point.
that's what he thought, right? That's why he said he left the game, and then of course he's dealing with a thumb injury. Um, let's say hypothetical. If Rodgers does sit out for the rest of the year, what's next after him? I mean, is he retiring? Is he going to another team? Is he staying in Green Bay? What do you guys think is going on? I mean, this is purely speculation, right? Like, go ahead.
I mean, I think he plays another season. I think the best option for the
In Green
Packers.
Bay, in Green Bay.
No, I was gonna say that I think the best
Oh,
option for the Packers right now is see what you got with Jordan Love and then kind of figure it out after the season, right? You give Love 5 games to play and see what he can do, and then you kind of evaluate at that point, like, hey, did he go 500 against teams that were okay? Did he look like he's got potential? And then after that, you figure out what you're gonna do with Rodgers. Downside, Rodgers got a fat contract that not too many people are gonna want to take, especially after the season that he's having this year. He
right.
looks like he's worth like a tenth of what he's going to get paid. Um, so they're going to have a tough time trying to move him. But really, I think it's after week 18 they look at the board and kind of figure out what they're going to do, depending on how much they let Jordan Love prove himself. I think he can still do okay, probably just not in Green Bay. Hopefully, I think the Niners would do pretty well with someone like Aaron Rodgers, or another team that needs a vet to just kind of pull through some games together.
But I feel like if he would have been okay with playing anywhere else, we would have seen it happen already, right? Like I mean, he was like in the driver's seat of that situation between him and the Packers. If he was going to make a move, he would have made it. He would have made that move last offseason when he just come off the 2 MVP seasons. It would have made more sense for me then. What do you think, OC? You think he keeps going, or you think this is about it?
No, his contract, the way I'm looking at it, he's locked in for at least 4 more years. So I mean, he signed a 3-year deal, but the opt out, he can't opt out for another 2 seasons. So the Packers are kind of stuck with him right now, unless they decide to move him and someone decides to take that contract, they're pretty much stuck with him for at least next year and the year after.
Who makes a move for him? What do you guys think? Who do you guys' top 3 contenders out in the league that would take the risk and make a move on an aging Rodgers?
I think after seeing what Russell has pitifully done with Denver, I think teams are going to scale back on their interest level as far as vets go. Because I think teams are looking at Russell and being like, well, maybe spending $250 million and getting rid of your first-round draft picks for like the next 3 years probably isn't the safest move, So, and they're not. If the Packers do decide to move him, I don't think they even ship him off to the NFC because they're still like afraid that he might do something to them,
Right.
But
and to that too, like I mean, I think you make a good point there of like the rest of the league learning their lesson when you're selling the whole kitchen sink to get just one guy, because it's, I mean, the verdict's still out on what Watson can do, right? Like he didn't look all too great in the preseason, and let's see if he comes in. He hasn't played football in like what, a year and a half, almost 2 years, and let's see what he does. Given how much the Browns gave up for him. Drew, what do you think? Do you think there's anybody out there?
I think there's one team out there that can take Aaron Rodgers and look to do well, and that's the New York Jets. I think the Jets are just a quarterback away from being a legit team, and I would take Aaron Rodgers season he had this year over Zach Wilson any day. I think that he could probably make that team better. There are 6-4 right now with Aaron Rodgers. You never know; they could be 8-3 or something.
You're gonna take Rodgers over Ben White, man? Ben White's over there fucking slinging it for the Jets.
I'm gonna say Ben White has the name of a career backup, like Cooper Rush, like that. You're a career backup. You're destined to be a career backup.
Isn't it Mike White?
Mike White.
Or Mike White. Sorry, my bad. Mike White.
See, you don't even know his name.
That's how forgettable the guy is. Poor guy.
We only know it's White because we saw the name on the jersey fucking 15 times.
Shout out to Mike White, dude. You're an awesome. You're a stud. Yeah, but I think actually I feel like it would make sense. I feel like that's actually a good move. Kind of following the footsteps of Brett Favre, leaving Green Bay and going to the Jets. OC, do you think a team would take a chance on him?
I mean, if you took a chance on Matt Ryan, why not take a chance on Aaron Rodgers, right? So maybe the Colts have enough cap space to try to fit him in there,
Jeez, how many quarterbacks are the Colts going to go through in 5 years?
That would be my
Go ahead.
Next best option. I said that would be, besides the Jets, that would probably be my next guess, the Colts. Because I don't think they would try to send him to San Francisco, especially being in the NFC.
No. Because that's what I was thinking. I mean, but I feel like with that in San Francisco, I feel like that ship has kind of sailed already. I feel like the Niners are kind of just done with that circus. One team I was kind of leaning towards was Tampa Bay, depending on what Tom Brady decides to do at the end of this year. If he decides to go ahead and hang up the boots, because, I mean, he's almost they're borderline out of the playoffs too, right? Like, but are they winning their division, I believe, right?
Yeah, as of right now, they're actually hosting a game against the Cowboys.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
it's an abysmal division.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see with that. I mean, and if he does get into the big party of the playoffs, I don't see the Bucks making it too far past the first round. But like you guys said, it would be to another NFC team, and I don't think the Packers would allow that, right?
No, I mean, if you're gonna ship off someone like Aaron Rodgers that's done so much for you, you're gonna want to make sure that you don't have to play him every single year or every other year. A team that hopefully you'll never have to see him again.
Possibility. What do you guys think the possibility is he retires, or that he just calls it and he's just done with football? and moves on?
I'm gonna say a 2 out of 10.
Like a 20% possibility?
Yeah.
What about you, Jose? What do you think, man?
I don't think he's done. The dude's too like he loves the attention that he gets from the media. So, and he just came off like he's having a terrible year, but the man did win back-to-back MVPs. So
Right.
he's not far removed from being at the top of his game. You know.
Oh, see,
Right.
you're talking about the Colts. How much do you think Pat McAfee can influence that trade? Since
Well, I
he's
mean,
since he's great friends with Pat, right?
they've always insinuated it, like they've thrown hints out there, and but I'm sure he could. Jim Irsay is a guy who, he hired an ESPN analyst to run his team. So
How
the
dare
fact that he
you say
wouldn't-
anything negative about Jeff Saturday, dude? Relax.
That was a positive.
No, yeah,
I mean,
that's true. That's
Jeff
true.
Saturday's fucking holding his own. That's for sure.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. He's a stud out there. But go ahead, OC. What were you saying?
No, I'm just saying, like Jim Irsay is the type of owner that will take shots. So if he can get Aaron Rodgers, he will try to get Aaron Rodgers, and I'm sure Pat McAfee will push for that.
I mean, but there's also bigger problems there in Indianapolis other than quarterback, right? Like it's not. I don't think it's just the quarterback position. Like I feel like the Colts have more work to do than the Jets do. I feel like the Jets are like on the cusp right there. They're like
Yeah.
right there, right?
They're literally just missing a quarterback.
Exactly. Like, could you imagine if they would have gotten better quarterback play? Especially that game against the Patriots where they were only put up 3 points, right?
2 inches, second half. 2 inches per
Exactly.
play.
Exactly. Just Aaron Rodgers just slinging it out there. I think, and then with Bryce Hall probably coming back from his ACL injury next year, I feel like that would probably be the best fit for Rodgers. Anything else you guys want to bring up about Rodgers, or are you guys ready to move on?
One quick thing. I text OC this morning. Key J and Max, the ESPN show, ranked Aaron Rodgers as the 9th best quarterback in the NFL right now. Since we were talking, since we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, they started talking about quarterbacks better than Deshaun Watson because Deshaun's coming back this week. They put Deshaun Watson as 10th. They started the list with Mahomes 1, Hurts 2, Allen 3, 4 Burrow, 5 Herbert, 6 Tua, 7 Lamar, 8 Dak, 9 Rodgers, and 10 Deshaun Watson.
It's a pretty interesting list, but I feel like that's about right for the way everybody's playing this year, especially Mahomes, which we all kind of I guess we kind of downplayed him a little bit.
I can see the steam coming.
Oh, Drew fizzled out.
We're back. What'd you say, Drew?
What you say, dude? You fizzled out.
I said you can see the steam coming out of OC's ears listening to you say that list is right.
Because Tua's so far down, or what?
No, because Herbert's in front of Tua. Herbert's in the top 10.
Herbert
Neither
deserves
should
to be
Rodgers.
top 10. Herbert deserves to be
Top 10 for what? For what?
He's having an okay year. He's still putting up yardage. I think he's
A what year? A what
he's
year?
having an okay year. He's
exactly
dude,
an okay year.
But he's
an
like,
okay year.
I think he's like top 5 when it comes to yardage, if I'm not mistaken. Like he's up there.
And what's his record?
So, what does that matter? It's because you're just going off.
If you're a guy, then you got to go out there and get.
Jimmy G has a high record. Is he top 10?
No, but he's not doing anything to get it though.
Then it doesn't matter. It shouldn't.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, it's just.
But Herbert's definitely not anywhere near the top, at least 7.
What do you think, OC? You look like you have some words to say.
Oh, we'll find out when. That's why the NFL flexed that game to Sunday night. Dolphins at Chargers, because there's a big hype about the 5 pick versus the number 6 pick. People have been calling out Herbert, calling him a social media quarterback. That he finally won a game, a clutch game against the Cardinals on Sunday.
Ooh,
But,
3-win Cardinals, 4-win Cardinals.
Yeah. So it's like Tua's been putting up the numbers, but it's like everyone just finds an excuse to the things he can't do. So he starts winning. He starts putting up great. He leads the league in QBR, completion percentage, all the attributes you need to be at the top of the quarterback list. But it's always, oh, he can't win in a cold weather game, or oh, he hasn't done it for so long, or they haven't beat anybody. So it's like,
Right.
you're still running out of excuses.
The
Meanwhile,
the
like Herbert gets treated like this golden child because
right.
apparently he looks the part.
And that's what I was gonna say. It's like with guys like Mahomes and Josh Allen, like that kind of seems to be like the gold standard for quarterback nowadays, right? Where you have to be super athletic and you have to be super big and you have to have a big arm, right? And like just Tua doesn't have all three, but he's still a solid starter. I do agree with Tua being like in the top 10 quarterbacks of this year, right? But it's just because he doesn't fit that mold like all these freak athlete quarterbacks that we see now, right? That are out there slinging it. I think you guys think that's probably why he gets so much criticism because he doesn't fit that mold.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you
think
start off with the whole thing. Or go ahead, Drew.
no, I think that's pretty accurate. He's different. He's not like you said, a lot of quarterbacks that we see. He's a lot smaller. He's left-handed. He does things a little bit different than everyone else. And then I think he's an Alabama boy. I think a lot of people give Alabama guys a tough time. So yeah, I don't really understand a lot of the Tua hate. Um,
Right.
I didn't think he was gonna be as good as he is now, but he's definitely made me a believer, and I'm actually really impressed between him and McDaniel's. I think McDaniel's is probably gonna be the coach of the year in my opinion. Um, it, he's impressed me, and he's impressed me a lot more than Herbert has. Herbert hasn't impressed me. He's he hasn't done more than expectations. I think that's the biggest problem with Herbert is he's flatlined. I've never seen him do better than what's expected of him.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, because he kind of came into the league, swinging already these big hits, right? When
Mm-hmm.
his rookie year, he was already putting 4 touchdown games, and he hasn't been doing it to the extent this year. But he also doesn't have the surrounding cast. I think that other teams do, like a Mahomes does, or Allen does, or Tua does. I mean, Keenan Allen, the dude, he runs 2 sprints and then his hamstrings falling off the fucking bone, right? Same thing with Mike Williams. Mike Williams, like
Mm-hmm.
the guys cannot stay healthy. His weapons can't stay healthy. Aside Austin Eckler, who's a beast ass running back, but he's not no Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or Stephon Diggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just if you have a better surrounding cast around Herbert, he would be putting up crazy numbers that we all know that he's capable of putting up, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, just the thing with two is just I do feel like he's a stud, and if for sure it's unfair criticism just because of how different he is. What do you think, OC?
Yeah, I mean, you guys said it. He's a lefty. He's not as tall as these other guys, but he finally gets a surrounding cast around him, and he's done nothing but win.
Get the
The
job
three
done,
game,
right?
yeah, the 3 games that Miami has lost this year are the 3 games that he hasn't finished at quarterback. 2 of them he didn't even play in, and then the
Right.
third one was that one where he got knocked out of the game. So if he's got a 5 game win streak right now.
Yeah.
He's putting up these like ridiculous numbers. He's got like 100 and he's got the longest completions like rate right now. Like he has 147 completions without a pick right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean Sunday you'll find out like if he's there because you're playing probably the top defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You're going into San Francisco, and for me, I mean, there's a lot of people, they play the Texans, the Bears, the Steelers, the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Not these upper echelon teams, but you finally get to play a team that's kind of similar to your style, especially
Right.
offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And you're playing a team that's loaded defensively, so
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be very interesting to see because as you can say, the haters are running out of excuses for him. So as long
I
as he
think
keeps winning, that's all that matters, right?
right, and I think the game against San Francisco is going to be a good measuring point because I think there's going to be circumstances where he's going to have to make a play because San Francisco they're going to do what they do best and that's take away the run, and he's not going to have that outlet, and maybe he might have. Tyreek Hill is going to beat guys one on one like he always does against San Francisco. I mean, the San Francisco DBs are not all that great, but there's going to be times where he's going to have to make a play outside of script. I think that's probably one of the biggest criticism too about Tua is that he's not capable, or a lot of people think he's not capable of making those big time plays, but he really hasn't had to this year, right? Like everything has gone according to plan offensively for them.
The ball's out of his hand too quick.
Right.
And the biggest thing also about Sunday's game is his left tackle, the guy they brought in, Teron Armstead, he's out. He's probably not going to play. He has a strained left pec. He opted not to have surgery, so he's going to try to come back this season. But apparently, he's going to try to play in the game on Sunday. So that's going to be interesting because you got Bosa over there who's going to be licking his chops to come right at Tua.
Right, and then that's the biggest thing is Tua getting the ball out quick, and that's what these Niners have struggled against quarterbacks is getting the ball out quick. He kind of almost reminds me of Drew Brees, right? Where Drew Brees just super accurate, getting the ball out, just getting the ball out to his playmakers, and then they make the play. But nobody ever criticized Drew Brees for not being the big time playmaker, right?
Yeah, I actually think that this is a great situation for Tua because I do think he's won a couple of big games this year. He won the Bills game, and then he led that charge comeback against the Ravens, right? Where they were out of it, and he leads this comeback. I think that if there's any team that's going to go in to San Francisco right now and pick apart this red-hot defense, it's going to be a team led by their former offensive coordinator. I think that's probably the best guy to know exactly what he's got to do to get the job done. And then with your left tackle being out, that's brutal. The upside, you're left-handed, so that's coming at you and not from behind you. So he's got that going for him. But actually, I think the Dolphins will win that game this Sunday.
It's definitely gonna be a tight one. But seeing how the Niners played offensively against the Saints, I'm not sitting pretty right now. So yeah, for sure. I mean, Andy Dalton's a little bit different from Tua right now. So for sure. You brought up the Ravens. I kind of wanted to bring up the Lamar Jackson situation and
His playing situation or his Twitter situation.
The Twitter situation. He did the unspoken rule of the group, a certain group that you're not allowed to criticize at all over the stratosphere right now, and the tweet that he tweeted out. Do you guys want to bring it up, or does anybody want to say it, or should I just pop it up on the screen in the editing?
Just pop it up on the screen.
Let everybody read it themselves. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I don't know why he's getting
attack anybody though.
No, he's not getting such. I think it's some more wokeness nonsense that people are just going after him.
But I think he didn't attack anybody. He just said like some vulgar words. That was it. He didn't attack a specific group of people.
Right.
No, I just think it looks bad because you choke the game and then you're blowing off frustration by attacking someone who's just voicing their opinion. Yeah. The guy's not wrong. I mean, Lamar is wanting to be like the highest paid quarterback ever, and he can't win a game that's against the Jags. I mean, you got to win games against the Jags, right?
It's true.
So
hey, let's not take any credit away from Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence probably had the best game of his NFL career, right? Leading that comeback against the Ravens.
Yeah. But on the upside is Lamar's not going head to head with Lawrence. He's going head to head with the Jacksonville defense.
With the defense,
who hasn't been that bad. I mean, not that great.
Right.
That's the game you got to win. You want to get paid the numbers that Lamar wants to get paid. He did this whole I'm going to invest in myself type of guy, and he lost a game that he needs to win. And with how compact that AFC wild card is looking, if you're not going to win that division, it's going to be tough.
Right. I mean, it was a hilarious tweet, but I mean, the thing is like these athletes can't get caught in those situations, right? You got to have thicker skin than that if you're going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Like I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes got in a bunch of heat, right?
Well, I give Patrick Mahomes a lot of credit because his brother and fiance or wife now, they fucking the last 2 years they've been the trolls of the NFL, right? They've just been doing stupid shit, and he separated that from his NFL career perfectly. And Lamar, in that one instance, has shown he can't do that yet.
Right. See, what do you think, man?
Lamar's gonna do what Lamar wants at the end of the day. I mean, he doesn't have an agent. He's his own representative. This isn't the first time that he does this on Twitter. Like he goes at people. Like he's not afraid to call you out if you're gonna talk trash to him. Um, but yeah, you probably shouldn't be saying vulgar stuff on Twitter, especially if you're leading a franchise, because you're under a microscope, basically, right?
Right.
I like a lot of people took it out of context. Like it wasn't that big of a deal.
No.
He just probably should stay off of Twitter after losing a game because he's obviously not happy.
Yeah.
So
Right.
give yourself the 24-hour rule. Just think about it.
It's
Come
true.
back Monday and just walk away, because then you don't have to delete a tweet that you
Mhm.
probably were told to delete by your coach.
Right. I mean, and then there's people are going to talk about this endlessly, right? And then, do you think maybe this is another piece of ammunition that the Ravens can use? Like, hey, man, you don't show the greatest persona off the field, or you're giving the organization a bad look. Is that kind of hurt his chances of getting the contract that he wants?
Uh, I don't think so. I think it
No.
comes more down to the wins and losses. What have you done playoff wise for us? What have you done in the big games for us? He he definitely deserves to get paid, but to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, I don't know. I don't think anyone has Lamar Jackson as top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. So
No.
I think it's more of the wins and losses categories that you're looking at.
Right. What do you think, OC?
As far as the contract goes,
Right.
I think he still gets it. I think the Ravens still want him no matter what. I don't think you let him walk away, considering he's won an MVP. He's basically been the main reason that you've stayed in games, because if you think
Right.
about the weapons that surround him, it's not a very good supporting cast.
I mean,
They've
outside
had to
of
bring-
outside of Andrews,
Yeah,
what
outside
else
of
do they
Andrews,
have? Yeah.
who's been hurt like 3 or 4 games this year.
Right.
So he's been, like he's been the reason why they've stayed in games. So I give him credit for that. But I don't think he's. I still think if the Ravens don't want him, there's about 28 other teams that will want him.
New York Jets
Right.
come flying in.
Yeah, there's plenty of teams that
It's a
don't want him.
plethora of teams that want him. Yeah.
Unless
for
you have
sure.
Mahomes or Allen, that's pretty much it. Aside from those two guys,
Those
I
two
think
are the only secure jobs in the NFL right now, right?
yeah, everybody else is pretty much like, that they'll gladly take a look at Lamar Jackson.
One team that would probably be happy to have Lamar Jackson. Let's talk about Russell Wilson and the Broncos, dude, and what happened with them this past week. And of course, they took another L. But with Russell Wilson in particular.